You lied to me. I don't want this. You lied to me. Why did you go out with your friends? Why do you have friends? Guys, Shaz here, back with another Love is Blind Season 6 recap. Today we are going to be talking about episodes 10 and 11. So grab your golden goblets and let's chat. So let's start with Jimmy and Chelsea. When we first see them, things are looking good. Chelsea is meeting his parents and his sister. They all seem to get along really well, and Jimmy and Chelsea seem to be in a really great place. Yay for them! But then
girls in the pods said, "Hey, your man's out. Where are you?" That was more embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
I didn't see anybody. I didn't talk to anybody last
I know,
night.
but they saw you. I don't want to be with someone who wants to go out and party. You sat there and lied to me, and you don't give two shits.
What?
Babe.
You don't think that I care about you just because I want to go out and have one drink just to make an appearance for a friend and come right back?
That's not the kind of person I want to be with. I love you, and I want to be around you, but like you're not giving me much. I'm sorry. Do you not understand the situation we're in? Because if you don't, then we're on a way different page.
I don't understand the situation you're in.
Way different situation.
I don't understand the situation you're in.
You're not being respectful to me.
How am I not being respectful to you?
Who do you hang out with every single day? Where do you go when you're not here?
Where we're not on the same page.
Where do you go when you work?
I work.
Who do you
home.
text all day? Who do you text? You told me you fucked her.
assuming the friends they're talking about are the girlfriends we met in a previous episode, and they all seem to get along so well.
But
There's like a level of respect. I introduced you to her. I put her in a situation to be on
and
camera.
I love her.
And then things really took a turn.
Okay.
Do you think I'm lying to you about that?
Yeah, I do, because I heard from other people that you were not with just fraternity brothers.
Who?
Were you with? I know it was Jess.
Jacob Lee, West. I was not with Jess. I've never saw Jess.
I heard it was Jess. I felt like shit last night, and I didn't say anything. It made me really sad.
Where'd that come from?
What'd you do last night when you left? What did you say to me? I'm going out. I'm going out. That's not the kind of person I want to be with.
Was last night, and I was going an hour and a half total. Just to make an appearance for a friend's birthday.
I don't want to be with someone who wants to go out a lot like you do.
You're sitting here drunk telling me you don't want to be with me anymore, so I don't, If you're sitting here saying that you don't even trust the things I'm saying to you in front of my friends and family, then I don't care to be with you either. You don't think I love you?
I don't know.
It's not gonna work, Chelsea.
Okay.
So let's break it down. Looks like Jimmy went out with some friends, and it turns out it wasn't even the girls. And basically Chelsea doesn't believe him because Mackenzie, who was in the pod, said they saw him with girls, women, I don't know. It was probably the partners of the friends he spoke about. It seems like Chelsea was on the goal. It seems like her insecurities were playing out, and I don't know about you guys, but yeah, if I were Jimmy, I'd be really concerned right now. And I mean, at the end of that argument, it seemed like, okay, we're done. That's it. Jimmy and Chelsea, they get into a really deep conversation about the argument. Chelsea is distraught and is apologizing about her delivery and seems to think it's just a hiccup in their relationship. And I really feel for Jimmy, and I feel like he's going to have this argument over and over and over again with her. She talks about drinking and talking about her emotions and how it's not a good combination. It was the wine talking. She says that she needs to know that when she's basically treating him like crap, he won't just walk away. Okay. Chelsea then says that she's even more in love with him after the fight and basically wants to know where he's at. And he says he wants to give it another shot. And yeah, he loves her, he forgives her. So it's, I think, 10 days to the actual weddings, and all the couples are meeting at this beautiful lake house. Looks amazing. They seem to be having a barbecue. They're all, hanging out, and some of the other cast members from the pods arrive. So Chelsea gets to see Trevor for the first time, and she is impressed.
He looks good though.
And a little bit later, Jessica arrives. And Jessica's looking super hot, let's be fair. I want that body. And Jimmy goes in for a bit of a hug, and it's a little bit awkward, didn't you think? Jimmy and Jessica go off for a little bit of a chat. It's the first time they've seen each other since the pods. I guess there's a lot they want to just get off their chest, get some closure. And I have to say, I was really impressed with Jessica. She was super respectful of the relationship he has with Chelsea, super respectful of Chelsea. I think she makes a comment about the fact that Jimmy must really treat Chelsea well. And they were quite honest about just how they felt about each other. And I thought it was a really good convo, and I'm happy for them that they got to have their closure. Trevor and Chelsea also have a bit of a sit down, and he's joking around with her, he's teasing her a little bit, but he does ask her about that last day in the pods and whether or not, if he had asked her to marry him first, she would have said yes, and she doesn't really have an answer for him. So again, guys, she wasn't 100% sure. It was just about who asked or went down first. Trevor then tells us he still has her gift, which was the wristband. If he presses it, her watch vibrates or something like that. Keep it clean, guys. And Jimmy comes over and they sort of all hug it out. So everyone's cool. They've all had their conversations and it seems there's some nice closure. A little bit later, Chelsea goes over to Jimmy and talks about Amy and Johnny and how they have the strongest connection. And Jimmy does not like that. He's kind of, why would you say that? Don't you think we have the strongest connection? Really, Jimmy, were you not in the argument you guys just had? You think you have the strongest connection? But they seem really lovey-dovey, so they've obviously made up. They've, called it bygones, and they're moving on. And on the last date, Jimmy and Chelsea go to an amusement park, and it looks like they have the place to themselves. How amazing is that? And they ride the rides, they're playing the games. How's that roller coaster, though? I would just die. Anyway, when they're sitting down and having something to eat, they're talking about the past couple of weeks, and Jimmy mentions that they haven't actually spoken about the wedding and where they're both at, whether they'd say, I do, when they get there. And he asks Chelsea, where's she at? How is she feeling? And she doesn't answer him. So now let's move on to one of our other controversial couples, Laura and Jeremy. The last time we saw them, Laura was not happy. Jeremy had been out till 5 in the morning and he was with Sarah Ann. So Jeremy is at the park with his dog and his mom, and he's telling his mom all about what happened, and it seems like the mom, gets from Laura's perspective, and Jeremy just seems a little bit nonchalant about it all.
Now, didn't realize I was gonna potentially lose a fiance over that. I mean, it sucks.
Oh, for Jeremy, it sucks that he was out till 5 o'clock in the morning with his ex. Poor Jeremy. Then at the lake house, Laura's catching up with the girls and she's sort of filling them in and saying, that while she doesn't really respect Sarah Ann, Jeremy's the one who made the commitment to her. He's the one who sort of chose her. So, technically she's holding him accountable for what happened.
Do I have respect for her? Absolutely not. Do I think that she has respect for other women? Absolutely not. Do I think she's selfish as hell? Absolutely. But he's the one that made a commitment to me. He's the one that owed me something.
Yeah.
And Jeremy arrives, he's looking pretty cool and he's chatting to Jimmy and Johnny. It looks like it's 4 days since they've last seen each other, and he's telling them how she's making him feel like the bad guy. Jeremy, you are the bad guy.
Everything I say seems to get spun in a completely different direction, and I'm made out to be the bad guy.
He says that he's been trying to contact her, he wanted to send her some flowers, ask for her address, but that he didn't appreciate her responses.
And basically all I got in return in text messages from her was nasty fucking answers.
And because of that, he feels like he learned so much about her character.
But I learned a lot about her. I don't know if she was angry or if that's how she was actually feeling about things, but even if you're angry, I don't want to be talked to or treated like that.
And at this point, Jeremy is just coming off really arrogant. What did you guys think? Where do you guys stand on this whole thing? Anyway, you can just tell Jimmy and Johnny are so uncomfortable with this whole conversation. Sarah Ann arrives.
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
So we see Laura and Jeremy then go off to have a chat, and Jeremy is basically complaining about the fact that he tried to reach out to her and that some of her responses were just rude.
So I text you, I asked for your address so I can send you some flowers, and I felt like I just kept getting like rude responses.
She sort of calls him a con artist and calls him out for having feelings for someone else but not being able to communicate it.
You, on the
I'm
other
not
hand,
trying
are
to
a
have-
con artist.
Okay.
You have feelings for another person that you don't know how to process. You don't know how to communicate your feelings or much of anything. And you're gonna flip it around on me yet again.
He thinks he came in with best intentions, but she basically believes he didn't have the maturity or the intent to actually ever get married.
I did come into this with the best intentions.
You think you came in here with the maturity level you need to have a marriage?
Basically, Laura is saying, listen, you know what, that's it, we're done. I'm going to get my stuff at the apartment. And Jeremy is like, I've already packed your stuff. This guy.
Okay. I'll come get the rest of my shit tomorrow.
I already packed it up, so it's already ready to go.
You already packed up my shit?
Then he is worried that they are making people feel uncomfortable and he still wants to enjoy his time with everybody. And Laura like totally calls him out, like your engagement just ended.
Everybody can feel the tension between us at this point, and can we at least just put it aside for today?
Your engagement just ended. It's absurd.
And then we see a conversation with AD and Sarah Ann, and AD is really grilling her about the DM she sent to Jeremy. Because basically in the DM she was kind of saying, you know, let me know if that door is still open.
Asking a man that you know is fully engaged, just went on a whole getaway with a woman, and he did not choose you.
Yeah.
And then to DM him and say, is the door still open?
And AD wants to know sort of what Jeremy had to say to that. Was the door still open? And Sarah Ann is like, from her perspective, yes.
My question is, did Jeremy leave the door open for you and him?
Yeah.
And she's saying that she knew the door was still open because she knew Jeremy so well from the pods, and she just felt like in the pods she didn't have a moment, she didn't challenge him, you know, when he broke things off with her, and she feels like when she got back, she needed to, I suppose, have closure, I don't know.
So, sure enough, we had a conversation. I got a lot off my chest, and we finally got to say exactly what I needed. And it was closure for me, right?
And that was what she was looking for on the night they randomly met at that bar. I wonder how random it really was. What do you guys think, that they planned it? But AD is just calling her out on all of this, and Sarah and then tells her that Jeremy was going to break it off with Laura.
What did he tell you?
He told me that he's breaking everything off, and I was like, okay.
But AD is just giving it to Sarah. You know, she's calling out the fact that Sarah knew he was engaged to somebody else. He had ended things with her. Why is she sending him messages? Why is she asking if the door is still open? Why is she circling back to that? Sarah Ann, though, just felt like she needed her feelings to be heard. It was a very awkward conversation.
very end of the day, you knew that they were engaged.
I did know, but I also, again, my feelings deserve to be heard.
We then see Jeremy and Sarah Ann having a conversation, and Sarah Ann is very emotional. She's very upset after the conversation with AD. She didn't think that the message to Jeremy was bad or that there was anything wrong with it, and she feels like everyone's trying to paint her as this floozy.
Like, they're painting me out to be this person that I'm this floozy that goes after men that are engaged. I'm a realist.
You're not that person.
And Jeremy is very much agreeing with her 100%. And I'm looking at this guy. Is he a droid? He seems so devoid of any emotion. And Sarah Ann is just continuously justifying her message or her DM to Jeremy. And I know it's tough when someone breaks up with you and afterwards you feel there were things left unsaid. But what did you guys think? Did you think she was justified in doing that or not? Jeremy is basically saying that, well, he made a mistake in the pods and then they go on the jet skis. And just like that, the relationship between Laura and Jeremy is over. So on to AD and Clay. AD was with her mom. They waiting for Clay to arrive, and AD's telling her mom how the night before she had set up this really cute date, very personalized, but he never came home. And right at that moment, Clay arrives and he's meeting the mom, and he, right off the bat, is talking about, how crazy their schedules are, and it really does sound like he's got a lot going on. He then does talk to AD's mom about his parents' relationship and their divorce and how that really scares him and concerns him. And I love AD's mom because she just talks about, that shouldn't. Why is he concerned about his parents' relationship? She talks about how Clay needs to sort of believe in himself and trust in his choices. And I feel like she really said everything Claire needed to hear. She really gave them good advice. Claire then sort of gets up, I'm not sure where he goes, and AD's also getting a bit emotional. She's talking to her mom and just tells her daughter, you need to trust. When Claire gets back, she tells him that he needs to focus on what his parents did right, because they were actually married for a really long time, so he should focus on that rather. Pretty good advice, right? And then we see AD and Clay back in the apartment, and AD's showing him, some colors and stuff that she's prepping for the wedding. And again, Clay brings up his father's cheating.
Like I told you, my dad cheated year 7 into the marriage. I got that on my mind of like, damn, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm ever going to cheat. I think that's unacceptable.
And that's do you think that's the biggest thing is that you're going to cheat?
He talks about how he never wants to cheat on AD. And I'm like, well, just don't then. He seems to have watched a previous episode of Love is Blind and he's comparing himself to those men and how ready they were. And he doesn't feel that he sort of measures up to them. And Eddie's reassuring him she's not afraid, she fell in love with him, she loves him. And then he sort of makes a comment around the timeline and how the timeline is dictating their relationship and when they actually get married.
For me, I just feel like love is love. Like, why does that date have to dictate our relationship?
And Adi makes it really clear that she's not backing out of the timeline. It is what it is.
We committed to a certain timeline in the pause. We committed to it. I feel like that the commitment led us here, and I feel like continuing to honor those timelines and honor the experiment is really important to me.
Tells him that if he backs out, that's it. They're done.
I don't think I could continue to date you after if it's
a no.
Yeah.
And I felt like he really needed to hear that because I was feeling that maybe he was considering saying no at the wedding, but still see her after that and sort of continue to see her and maybe get married at a later date, but Ed is having none of that. She's like, no. By their last date, though, they're going out for dinner to the stunning rooftop restaurant, and they seem very much in love. Eddie is super happy and excited about the wedding, and Clay talks about how much she has helped him grow. So, where do we stand on this one? Will they or won't they? And so, in terms of the last relationship, a couple we hardly speak about, Amy and Johnny, and these two have just been super strong from the word go. See them building on that. We've never seen them have an argument, we've never seen them have an issue. They just seem like really, they are the strongest couple, in my opinion. We do see Johnny meet Amy's dad, who gives them their blessing, which makes Amy really happy.
I love your daughter. She's an amazing person. You did an amazing job raising her. And may I have your blessing to marry your daughter? Yes.
For me, the most sure couple of this whole experience. So that's it, guys. Next week, we'll see the bachelor and bachelorette parties, and eventually see the weddings, and eventually see who says I do at the altar. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Who do you think will actually get married? Who do you think will split at the last minute? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So please give me a like, give me a share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.